Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a really fascinating, but honestly pretty dark journey into a terrifying scenario. This explainer is going to unpack a gripping allegorical story, which was originally an animated Hindi short, and it serves as a profound, horrifying cautionary tale about ethics in medical practice. We're going to break down the anatomy of a totally corrupt system and dissect those precise moments where human dignity is just completely traded away for convenience and profit. So let's dive right in. Think about it. What actually happens when medical desperation overrides human dignity? Well, it's a terrifying scenario that basically haunts the entire foundation of healthcare. In the story we're looking at today, we see the real-world implications of intense academic pressure colliding head-on with systemic black market corruption. It really forces us to ask, how far will a person go just to pass an exam? And what blind spots in our institutions actually allow the unthinkable to happen? Section 1. The Desperate Medical Student. To understand the systemic failure, we have to look at the individual actors. Our story kicks off with a final-year medical student who is absolutely panicking over a practical anatomy exam. Just listen to the incredible dissonance in her request. Do you have a dead body? It's very urgent. Notice how clinical and transactional that is. Human remains, a once living person, are literally reduced to a last-minute study supply. It perfectly illustrates how extreme desperation can dangerously warp a student's moral compass until they just bypass legal channels entirely. Moving on to Section 2, the black market deal. So where there is desperate demand, a shadow supply chain is always going to pop up. Enter Panday. He's the illicit supplier, a guy operating in the dark corners of the medical institution. And his response captures the ultimate commodification of urgency perfectly. It will cost more, madam. In the real medical world, getting a cadaver is this highly regulated, solemn process. But here, it's literally just supply and demand. He's actively extorting a student who has run out of time, slapping an expedited shipping fee onto a human corpse. And then they start haggling. The student asks if 4,000 will work, and he casually agrees. It's chilling how a human life, or the vessel of a human life, is negotiated down to a simple transaction. There are no forms, zero family signatures, no ethical review boards. It is just a quick, shadowy verbal contract that seals a horrific fate. 4,000 rupees. Let's just pause and let that sink in for a second. That is the literal price tag placed on a human form in this underground economy. For roughly the cost of a few textbooks, an entire chain of medical oversight is bypassed. It's an incredibly shocking number that forces us to realize exactly how cheap life becomes when those ethical safeguards are stripped away. And here's another huge metric in their deal: 72 hours. Panday promises a 72-hour-old unclaimed body. Now, in medical ethics, unclaimed is this highly sensitive legal status that requires exhaustive searches for family members. But here in the black market, unclaimed is simply a loophole. It's a horrifying detail that foreshadows a complete lack of oversight, turning vulnerability into pure profit. Section 3. A gruesome unveiling. So the deal is done, but the student is forced to physically help carry this illicitly obtained body into the facility. And this brilliantly illustrates the tension of the moment. The supplier tells her, "Don't get scared," as they prepare to unveil the face. Think about the stark contrast. You have this sterile, highly regulated academic college environment, totally corrupted by the dirty, disrespectful reality of what they've just smuggled inside. They're about to uncover the true cost of their shortcut. Section 4. The Patient's Vengeance. This is where the allegory takes a sharp turn into horror. As they unveil the body, the ultimate twist is revealed. The supposed corpse is actually alive. Or, well, it was alive. The victim says, "I wasn't dead. You sold me without handing me over to my family." This isn't just a jump scare. It's a masterful representation of the absolute worst-case scenario in medical malpractice. It gives a voice to marginalized patients who get swallowed up by corrupt institutional machines. Section 5. A Fatal Confession. The narrative demands accountability here. The spirit of the victim basically forces the corrupt supplier to pick up the phone and expose what he did. Put yourself in the shoes of that frantic family for a second. Where is my daughter? They've been searching for days. By bringing the family in, the story transforms from a simple ghost story into a profound, grounding human tragedy. It reminds us that every subject in medical science is someone's loved one. And then comes the fatal confession. The supplier admits he found her 7 days ago in a half-dead state, and instead of getting help, he sold her. We really need to unpack this because this is the absolute zenith of the ethical nightmare. A living, vulnerable patient who needed urgent care was commodified, exploited, and discarded by the very people meant to heal her, all for quick payout. Section 6, the ultimate ethical nightmare. Let's step back from the fiction and look at the real-world lessons. You can see the sheer scale of the violation right here. On one side, standard medical ethics, strict family consent, rigorous documentation, verification of death. On the other side, Pandey's actions, a false declaration of death, total secrecy, profit-driven motives, and selling a living person. The contrast is literally night and day. Breaking down the anatomy of this breach, we see 3 huge failures. First, the false declaration of death, a total failure of basic medical duty. Second, the illegal sale of a vulnerable patient, a failure of human rights. And third, the student's academic malpractice, a failure of professional integrity. The crucial takeaway is that this nightmare wasn't an accident. It was caused by these specific ethical failures, proving how fast the system collapses when oversight is ignored. This brings us to the core of this whole explainer, bioethics. It's the study of ethical issues in medicine and biology. Grounding our spooky allegory in rigorous academia reminds us exactly why those stringent, sometimes annoying laws around medical procurement exist. They aren't there to make a student's life harder. They are the fundamental shield protecting human life from becoming just another commodity. So, I want to leave you with this final haunting question. If the institutions designed to heal us can so easily hide our exploitation through corruption, who can we truly trust? It's a provocative thought, right? The foundation of all medicine is trust. When bioethics are compromised for a shortcut, that trust is the true casualty. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the darker side of medical ethics. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.